A beauty dish. Can we use it for everything? I'm Daniel Norton for PPA. Let's get to it. Hey there, I'm Daniel Norton here in my studio in New York City, and today I want to talk about beauty dishes. If you've seen me live or in videos before, you know that I'm adamant about this is made for a very specific task, to shoot beauty. It's designed for that, it's great for that. But can we do other things with it? Here we're going to challenge my own notion that it's just for beauty. And the first thing I want to do is something a little bit odd. Let's shoot a product. So I picked up a couple bottles of hot sauce and frankly, I want to use them, but I figured I'd take a picture first. So I've got a little setup here. We've got a kind of a green background that we leave laying around the studio as ones want to do. And we've got this kind of metal tone reflector. This is not an elaborate product shot, but it's just something to show you how we can do this. Now, a beauty dish by its nature, especially this one, which is silver, is going to be punchy and we're shooting glass. So we know we're going to have a hard reflection. Generally, when you're shooting product, you're going to want to put the light behind in some way and kind of wrap the light around. So we'll start with that. I've got the ProPhoto B10X Plus here. I'm just going to put the beauty dish on it. And as you can see, I'm going to basically feather the light down. So I'm not pointing it right behind it. Part of that is because I want the highlight to be nice and even and across. And also in life, light usually comes from above. So putting the light below is a very deliberate thing. And if we're only using one light, that might not be ideal. So with one light, we want to keep our light up high, which is where I've got it. Kill the modeling light there so we don't burn battery, and let's see what we've got. So I'm tethered here into Capture One with my Nikon, and I basically put the camera more or less level with the bottles. I'm going to look through and see what I've got. I can show you here on Capture One. So we're looking through the camera. This is more for if you're by yourself and you're doing some kind of product or whatever. This is great for, or even for your stylist to look, just to kind of see how the layout looks. This is not the proper exposure because I've got it set as such so we can see what we've got going on. I'm going to line these up in a way that seems pleasing to me. Then we're going to come over. I'm in TTL and we're going to take a shot. Okay, that's not half bad, but it's kind of hard light, right? Which can be fine if we want just a rim light or something, but since this is our only light source, this is a bit harsh for me unless you're going for that in the barroom feel, and frankly, this is my summer cottage wall. I'll have to put that back in the summer. So we want to soften this up a little bit. And we can do that a lot of different ways. We could put it through something like a diffuser, which we're going to do, but first let's get a little bounce going on. This is just a simple reflector. I'm just going to bounce back some of that hard light into the front to give us a little more detail. I'll use the white side. And this is our exposure. Again, I'm in TTL. And we can see how that brightens everything up. But I still feel like it's a bit rough with the shadow. So let's get a little diffuser in here. And for here, I have a celebrity chef, no, celebrity photographer, Seth Miranda, also a chef. Seth's going to hook us up with a little diffusion. All right. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to diffuse this light with this halo. And we're going to bounce back here, creating effectively a light tent. And remember, because I'm in TTL, the exposure is automatically going to adjust. And now we've got a nice soft light. We've got some reflection on here. If you don't love the shape of the reflection, we can adjust where the diffuser is, right? But effectively, we have a nice soft light, and it's kind of an environment. Doesn't look terrible. We could spend 45 minutes tweaking this and making it perfect, but I think you get the idea. Let's use the beauty dish on a person. Okay, so we've got Marissa here now, and let's get into using the beauty dish on a person, which is how you're mostly going to use the beauty dish. We're gonna eventually get into the way that I consider to be the best way to use it, but let's kind of repeat what we did with the product. Let's have our subject come in and use the beauty dish as kind of a hair / separation light. So I'm gonna have Marissa stand in front of this background here, and we more or less have the beauty dish in the same position. So yeah, I step so you can see it. Aha. And it's just going to kind of come across and give her separation and some glow to her chin. So let's take a look at this and see how it works on a person. There it is. Boom. And we can see that you've got this kind of light coming through the window, kind of crispy light hitting her, which is really nice. We get specular highlight on the side of her face. Obviously, she's in shadow because we're not using this as the key light anymore. You could, just like with the product, hold a reflector and do all that stuff, but I think in this we're going to use an actual key light. So I'm going to bring in a softbox for this. So we're using our beauty dish as the effectively separation light, and we're going to bring in a softbox as our key light. And believe it or not, Marissa is still there, even though she's hidden behind the box. I know. So there's a lot of theories of thought on where you should place your separation versus your softbox, like your key light. I like to put it opposite sides, which is why we're blocking her, but you can put it on the same side if you like. We're going to raise it up, kind of put it in kind of your traditional kind of three-quarter look. This right here is, again, same Profoto light. Same type of Profoto light. It's not the same light, obviously. Okay, and Marissa's going to look slightly off this way. I'm in TTL still. We can see now that we've got nice even light on her face, and our beauty dish is doing a good job to give us that nice, punchy, specular highlight. Works well with Marissa because she's got nice long hair, her shoulders got a little shine to it. It gives us a nice portrait effect. Now we are getting a little bit of an odd shadow on the background from the beauty dish, so I'm just going to adjust it for a second. All right, so I'm just going to move this to the side for a second as Marissa gets her final touches on. Basically, I took the beauty dish, and you can kind of probably not notice it that much, but I kind of spun it out this way a little bit to get it off the background wall. One trick to this, really, is you've got modeling lights in these lights, so I can effectively turn the light on, and I can just look through the camera and see where it's falling. It's still hitting the background a little bit, but I think it's okay. So we'll kill that for a second. Let's move our key light back in. And again, because I'm using TTL, it's going to compensate. So if I don't put it exactly in the same spot, it's not going to be the end of the world. So let's get another shot here. Okay, here we go. Nice. What's going on? Right, here we go. Nice. So I brought it over, and we have a little bit more of kind of a framing of light in the background with the beauty dish being kind of backed off a bit. Now, if we wanted, we could, of course, adjust it wherever place we want. But honestly, again, this is still not my favorite way to use a beauty dish. Let's talk a little bit about why a beauty dish is good for what it's good for. So again, this is a beauty dish, if you haven't been watching. And effectively, when we look at it from the side, we can see that we've got this kind of shallow dish, right? That's a beauty dish. Also, you've got this deflector in the front. The beauty dish is designed to give us a punchy light, pretty hard, right? Because when we're thinking hard soft, we're thinking size relative to our subject, so it's not huge, right? But because it's flat like this, it's not like a focused light, like you might get in like a parabolic, right? What we're getting here is kind of a widespread light that's going to give us an even light, but it's also going to be tight and punchy. This right here, which a lot of people think is like the secret to the beauty dish, is important only so much that it reduces the hot spot, right? If you didn't have this, you're gonna put it real close to your subject, you would get a hot spot. So the beauty dish is all about hard light, but hard, even light. And where do we use that? In beauty, right? A lot of times people think beauty photography, I'm gonna put the most giant softbox I've ever owned in front of people. Beauty photography is done with harder light. Hard light shapes the face. Hard light gives us texture. That's what we want. So let's get this into a traditional beauty position. All right, so I've got the beauty dish now on this roller stand. We've got it weighted down for safety here with the pumpkin, not an actual pumpkin. And we're gonna bring it into what is kind of the more classic beauty dish position, which is kind of overhead in front for a butterfly light. We're gonna bring it in relatively close and kind of at an angle that's not too steep, right? This is a good angle for it. It's going to give us a nice shadow under the nose without it being too long or too short and too flat, right? I'm not using a grid or anything, so some of the light is going to spill on and hit the background, which I'm okay with. If you didn't want light in your background, you'd add a grid. But for now, I think we're going to be good. And what we're going to do is bring this in. And again, the point of this, just to reiterate, is to create an even light across the face. That's how we get beauty photography. It's hard light, which gives us shape and texture, but it's even so we don't have kind of ugly shadows, for lack of a better word. We have beautiful shadows. Beautiful shadows, that was the name of my band when I was in high school. All right, so without further ado, we'll bring Marissa in. Now, the trick to the beauty dish as far as height and stuff is you get yourself set up, come a little closer, and we look through the camera, right? Raise your beauty dish until it's just out of frame. So let me show you that. So I'm going to capture one we can see. So I'm just going to kind of look. We can look through the back of the camera. I can also look to capture one. I'm just going to take it out of frame. It's right there. If you're unsure, put your hand on the bottom of it and take a picture. If you see your hand, it's too low. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We got it in position. Again, I'm in TTL. I'm going to turn off the other light right now. And let's get a shot. So have her, yep, there we go. Look right at me to start with, just level. So typically we're going to want to have her tilt her chin up, which of course Marissa knows because we've done this before. But we'll start with it flat on. So even flat on, you can see how even and crispy this light is. Marissa took no time doing her makeup. So this is like fresh, no makeup.
Right.
No, but seriously, we have nice even light here. But we can get it even more even by having her slightly raise her chin up. And like I said, we do have a bit of shadow on the wall. It's not really a problem for the shot. We just move the background back if we really want to. So let's have her raise her chin up so it's more or less in line with the beauty dish. This is kind of the classic beauty shot. And she can look at me still, like, buy this makeup. Right? And we can see now how even it is on her face and how we get that really kind of dreamy feel. Right? And this is with nothing, right? This is just the beauty dish, lighting her up, nice green background. And this is just a really simple shot. We could fill it in any way we want. We could add a passive fill like a reflector. We could add a active fill like a softbox. But just out of the box, or the dish as it would be, this looks pretty good. Let's actually show you both options just so you got it. Where's the reflector? Here we go. Jankyreflector.com. All right. All right, so we've got our reflector here, white and silver. And we'll try both, right? So white is going to give us a kind of a gentle fill. Silver is going to be a little bit more glamorous, which might actually suit this shot. Yeah, we can see it filled in a little bit. You did not blink. She didn't blink. Very nice. And then a silver fill. One thing that's nice about this is, and when you're learning and working with this kind of stuff, is just try both. You see how quickly we just shot both of those. Don't lean into it and shoot 100 pictures of both, right? That's why we're tethered. We shot one with white, one with silver, then we'll quickly look at them and decide what we like better. You can see too, the silver one makes her a little bit more like, oh yeah, where the white one's like, ah. So, you know, it makes a difference. I'm thinking that the white works better for me in this particular situation, but you know, if you like silver, more power to you. Let me know in the comments below if you like the silver better. But I'm not going to go back in time and shoot more. All right. Also, the other thing, and we're just doing this for a demo video here, but if you're going to shoot a bunch of beauty all day long, you probably want to rig your reflector on a stand, because the rule of thumb with this kind of thing, is that if you take more than a couple of shots, put it on a stand, because you want it to be even all the time, repetitive. You don't want to be thinking about, is this in the right space, not in the right space. Just put it on a stand if you're going to use it a bunch. Well, I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions, how maybe you use a beauty dish. Have you never used a beauty dish before? Have you ever thought about using it in these different ways? Let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you ring the bell. Lots of great content here from PPA and other great photographers. If you want to see more of me, you can check me out. There'll be a link below. Also, I'll be at Imaging this year. So this is Marissa. You're on PPA. I'm Daniel. We'll see you soon.